Hi guys, I'm just getting ready, just sort of checking everything as usual, a few more button clicks and I should be ready to go. Okay, yeah, I think I've got everything ready. I can never tell straight away, to be honest. I always wonder if things I have not clicked on. Yeah, let's reveal the face. Where's that one? Yeah, morning guys. I hope you're all well. Yeah, as I said obviously yesterday in the other sort of live streams, I am going to be doing more live streams now, just because I've got everything set back up again to do them nice and easy. And I am coming out of my busy period with weddings. I've still got some weddings to do and some weddings to edit, but I'm not as busy as I was obviously during the summer months of July and August. I'm just sort of crazy busy. So yes, I've got more time to do sort of some live streaming and some bits and pieces. So basically what I'm doing this morning, well yeah, I'm going to be trying to make some trees out of sprues. Let's reveal the other image. Yeah. So yeah, obviously good old sprue build, and yeah, gonna have a go at making some trees. I'm gonna do two different types of trees, both with sprues. One's gonna be the sprues as they are, sort of glued together, cut up to make a bit look sort of gnarly looking. Yeah, make trees from that way, and obviously the other way, good old ooey gooey sprue stuff. This one's been in this jar, I don't know, when was the last time I did a sprue video? Oh, I can't even think. So this has probably been in the jar for a good month or so. So I know quite a lot of people do ask how long can the goo stay in here and still be usable. And I'm sure the longest I've had it before was about 7 weeks. Basically, as long as there's still acetone in there, then it's good. Obviously, if all the acetone has evaporated, then this will obviously then start to harden. As long as there's acetone in there, then it is still good to use. It's generally a bit thicker and harder than when it's first made. But yeah, we'll find out. We'll see what comes out of that, see what I can make. But yeah, so I'm going to make some trees out of this. I'm going to make a few variations because I'm going to have a go at using the sort of like tree bushy stuff that I've got as obviously leaves and all that on top of the tree. So I'm going to make the trees more like with tree trunk and a few sort of branches coming off, and then glue this on the top. But then I also might make some try and make the foliage on top with the ooey gooey sprue stuff. Basically I'm not sure, I'm kind of winging it, which is kind of generally what I do with most videos. I have a go at thinking of something and then I have a go at building it, making it. I will be doing filming of this, so you will see me pull my little camera, or my phone, on the little thingy, because I say I will be filming parts of what I'm doing to obviously make into a video, which I'm kind of aiming to have out this week really. I've got a few other projects I'm working on, but none of them I can sort of complete this week. Yeah, there's a few projects I'm working on, some of them are a bit bigger, so they do take a lot more work. So yeah, that's why every now and then I do a sort of short video, just as a little filler inner, because I do like to do a video each week, because basically I'm building stuff every day almost. But yeah, right, so a little look, see there's a few people on, which is awesome. Yeah, so we've got Steve's on, and he's made some tree sprues. Awesome. I think I have made one before, many moons ago, but I don't think it was like foliage. I think it was just the trunk of the tree and a few branches. I think that was made, yeah, some time ago in one of my videos where I make sort of 10 different things out of sprues. So I think that might have been one of those ones. Seal animations, hello, good morning. 2 days in a row. Yes, it is 2 days in a row. I'm, again, because I've got everything set up now, and when I'm doing the smaller builds, I don't mind live streaming because I don't need to get too much on my desk. It's when I need to sort of get loads and loads of stuff that it starts wearing me down, and it's like, oh, I have to remember this or remember that. Whereas obviously making trees out of sprues, all I need is some screws, some cuts, obviously some glue. But I am going to go melting these, so I have got my little candles and a good old flame. So yes, so these sprues will be melted. Obviously the sprues that are in there obviously definitely are melted because that's the ooey gooey sprue stuff. Yeah, so I've got a rough idea what I'm going to do, but yeah, again, so that's why I thought you guys can just sort of sit there, watch me, and sort of see the whole process of what I do. Because obviously the video that I'm filming of this, the video might only be sort of 3-4 minutes long, but it might take me several hours to actually sort of make it, because obviously some of it's trial and error, really, which is kind of cool. Bo Smith, 3 AM. Oh wow. So you just getting up, or just getting to bed, or you've just been up all the time? Lazarus 101 FM, morning all, morning to you. Have I used sprue bits to make cobblestone bases? Yes, I have. Yeah, Bo, I've made quite a lot of things out of sprues. There's a lot of videos on my channel. Yeah, I've made kind of all sorts. I made yeah, cobble bases, walls, fire pits. Yeah, I've made loads of smaller items, as well as obviously the big things like the Gorkanaut, the Stomper, the Orc wagon. So yeah, I've made some big items, and I've made loads of sort of small little builds as well. So yeah, yeah, basically just go through all my videos. Click on all of them, watch them all. That'll last you for a good few hours. Bo's on an overnight shift. Morning. Morning, Evangelos Magolianos. Yeah, I am terrible. Good morning from Greece. Awesome. So I must admit, because obviously if you guys were with me yesterday, I did a live stream yesterday morning and a live stream yesterday evening, and it's funny to see the variety of where people are. Because the evening streams, it generally tends to be mostly sort of Europe and America, and yet the morning streams seem to be all over the world, which is pretty cool. You like my Orky builds? Cool. So yeah, where's my little figure? So obviously the trees I'm going to make, I'm not going to make huge big trees, because the idea is I want to have quite a lot of trees on. So this board I've got here, I'm going to basically flock the whole thing, as in like put fake grass on it, make a roadway going on it, and then I want to be able to use it so I can add bits, like add terrain, add rocky mountain bits, and obviously loads of trees, because this will be a set and also like a diorama of one of the D&D, well, of a D&D game basically. So yes, I want to make the trees not too big, because obviously I don't need them to be as in like realistic trees, so they're like 50-60 feet high. They only need to be, well, small cute trees. So I've already filmed a little bit of me getting the sprues out, getting this guy out. I don't know how well you can actually see, but I've drawn I've drawn a tree on my little table. I don't know, I'll get a I've got a black marker. Doesn't have any black pens. That's what I'll do. Yeah, so I've kind of drawn a rough size tree, just so I kind of know what I'm sort of working to scale with. So the idea was to obviously have my little figure, have the main part of the tree, the trunk of the tree, so it goes just above his head, and then some foliage on top. So I don't know, I'm going to film. Again, generally when I'm making videos, I film lots of bits, and then when I come to edit it, a lot of bits aren't needed, because sometimes it's like a repetition. So I've already filmed me drawing this tree in pencil, but say you guys can't see it, so that's why I'm just going to draw it again so you can see it. But it's like, well, I may as well film it just in case. So I've got my little man. So we've got like a baseline of where he is. He's about that high. I don't know how you can see that. So I'm going to do the trunk, trunk kind of like that, and then obviously at the bottom of the tree can be there, and then the top. So that's kind of the size of the tree to my little man. So I think it's about 3 inches or so. It's not very big. No, it's about 4.5 inches high will be like the total height of it. Because the idea is to have it on here so I can have, well, I'm going to make about a dozen. But again, I'm going to see how it goes, because obviously I've made one lot of trees from this, but it was just the bark, it wasn't the foliage. So I'm going to see how this goes, because I have just actually received an email from a company who are going to send me some STLs of trees, and they've got some pretty cool trees. So I may do a combination of my trees and their trees, and then see which trees I like the best out of the two and go with them. It may be their trees, to say their ones do look pretty cool. Evangelist, your legit reason I have a table full of cheap and nice looking terrain. Looking at it right now, awesome. Also, props for pronouncing. Yeah, honestly, I am. I'm so bad with trying to pronounce names. Unless you've got like a typical British sort of name, I'm going to stumble over anything. Sea Nations. Have I ever watched Barbaros? He makes World War One and Two dioramas. I use some good effects for mud. Well, funny enough, I need to have a look at that then, because I can do the flocking on this board, but I want to have obviously like a pathway. But yeah, I don't want to do a pathway where basically I'm just painting the floor brown or putting little stones on and then painting them brown, because that will just look naff. So I really want to get sort of the flooring to look pretty decent, really. Right, as I say, I am kind of winging this, so that's what I say. This video, or me streaming, might go for a couple of hours for me just to get one little tree. But as I say, I mean, I'm going to be sitting here doing this regardless. It'll just be fun having you guys there. I mean, you can chuck in your comments if you've got any advice, help. Yeah, do that as well. Or just let me know where you are, what you're doing is always good. And so this is the other weird thing as well. Last night I did the stream. I think I had between 15 and 20 people watch, and I've got 24 now. So it's kind of the opposite of how it used to be. Although when I used to live stream about 8-9 months ago, I think I was getting around about 120 to 140 people watch. But again, good old YouTube, it doesn't seem to be sort of promoting me or letting people know I'm on, which is a bit disappointing, really. Anyway, enough waffling. Let's have a go at doing some of these. So again, I will be filming every now and then, so you will see this pop into view. So yes, anyone who's obviously interested and want to know how I do my videos, yeah, obviously I've got one of these on a nice long arm attached to the table. I film with my phone, so you don't need expensive camera gear to make videos for YouTube. You can just use whatever you've got, which is what I do. So yeah, I use a phone, obviously because I'm a professional photographer, so I do have some decent cameras. But the problem with the decent cameras is they're reasonably big. So to use those, I'd need to get a stronger arm, whereas this is obviously a nice lightweight arm. I need to get a stronger arm, and the camera has to be sort of like back here for focusing, which then makes it harder for me to sort of work with. So that's why I prefer using the phone. And again, the quality on phones is great. So use a phone, it's lightweight, doesn't need a heavy stand, and literally it can be right in front of me and I can like be over the top. So that's why I like using the phone as well. It doesn't take up much room. And obviously the other camera, that's the phone as well. So again, that's on a small little sort of stand, and yeah, just lightweight really, which is awesome. Yeah, more people were at home because of COVID. Yeah, oh yeah. But it is. But then you see some other sort of channels similar to mine, and they're sort of like going up leaps and bounds. Anyway, I won't get to that. So yeah, all right. So the first thing to obviously do, generally how I kind of start all videos that I use sprues, is obviously cutting long lengths up, and then cutting the all important nibbly knobbly bits off. Yeah, so I haven't really sort of said that word for quite some time. I do like saying nibbly knobbly bits, because it is, yeah, it's quite a funny word really. So yeah, so that's what we do. Again, if you have, obviously in the comments, obviously chat amongst yourselves, chat to me and all that good stuff. Oh, Alex Laraz, good morning from Spain. Awesome. So again, I think I'm almost preferring doing streams in the morning, just because of the variety of people and places. Obviously I love the UK, I love America, but it's nice that when I go in the morning, we are getting more people from all over, which is pretty cool. Yeah, what I was going to say was, if you have got a question related to me, in the comments, if you can put @miniature hobbyist somewhere in your comment, just because it highlights it on my screen, in orange, basically. Oh, sorry, CLM Animation is asking how did I get on with that big orc last night? Well, it was the ogre. I didn't paint any more. I just gave him one coat in the end. I didn't paint any more to him. But I will be painting them later. But say today, obviously, I wanted to make some trees out of sprues. Just to say, this will be the video that will come out later this week. So generally, when I make the videos, it generally, depending on the size of the build, it can take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days to do. But obviously, this is going to be a small little build, so this I should be able to film all this today, and then depending on what I'm doing, I'm either edit it tomorrow or Thursday, and then it'll be out Thursday or Friday. So I'm going to do some like smaller little videos of smaller builds. So yeah, again, I'm waffling. Yeah, Lazarus, you have a good day, buddy. Yeah, have fun doing what you're doing. Steve's drinking from the Nibbly Knobbly Bits mug. Awesome. Haha. Cool. Yeah, I need to get one. I'm using my my little cup that my daughter bought me. I'm sexy and I know it. Maybe not, but she loves pugs, so that's why it's got a pug on it. Right. So I think I've been waffling enough. Let's cut some sprues. I say the all important, get them nibbly knobbly bits off. So the idea is to get obviously long lengths. Again, to say I've got a rough idea of what I'm going to do, but quite often plans change when I'm sort of doing something. If I find something works better or worse. Right, so the nibbly knobbly bits go there, and that's kind of what we want to show, and then obviously just want to make more of them. Right, so that's enough filming of that bit. So obviously now I'm going to cut up loads and loads of lengths, so then when I film the next bit it will show me with loads and loads of lengths. Yeah, so again, that's why obviously a lot of the videos you watch of mine, they might only be say 15-20 minutes or less, but the actual time spent making the stuff is obviously a whole lot longer. Evangelist tried making trees from sprues, but they look too spruey. Ah, okay. Well, that's why I've got my little candles and a flame, because obviously, like I say, the sprues, I mean, I am going to use my scalpel and do some cutting into the sprues just to make them look rougher and, well, less like sprues. But then I'm also going to heat them up, and I've got a fine, obviously, sort of like a dart tool that I'm going to try and like scrape bits into it. Again, just to, well, make it look less like a sprue and more like a tree. So yeah, so I have put in my title, obviously, realistic looking tree. That might be an exaggeration, it might not. I'm hoping it's going to look relatively realistic and not just like a sprue that's been glued together with some tufts of foliage thrown on top. But hey, you never know. But that's the joy of this hobby, is trying things out. And say if it works, awesome. If it doesn't, I'll still make a video of it and show you guys. However this turns up or turns out, there will still be the video on it. Yeah. Plus, I always find as well, when you make things, they can look, they look alright, but it's when you paint them. You paint something and then it just takes on a whole new look. So obviously, before this gets painted, even when I glue this all together and I melt it and I carve into it, it's still going to look like plastic, because obviously it's grey. But as soon as you get like the some primer on it and then start painting it brown, it will then look more woody looking. Then yeah, should look better, really. Can't look worse than your attempt. Oh bless. Well, in that case, you need to try again then. If at first you don't succeed, keep trying. And if that fails, then go and get a 3D printer and just print some out. Yes, I don't know how many lengths I need, but I like to cut up loads just so then I've got enough. And I say if the tree does come out well, I am going to need about a dozen trees. I mean, I haven't say the email just came through this morning about the company sending me the STLs for their trees, so I will print their trees out as well. And I might even do like a little comparison of sprue trees, these STL 3D printed trees. Could also do like a poll and you guys could decide which ones you prefer the look of. Obviously I would do them both as fully sort of painted and finished articles. Yeah, so all these obviously nibbly knobbly bits that I'm cutting off, they go into a little box and then get put into a jar and turned into the ooey gooey sprue stuff, which is pretty cool. So yeah, nothing gets sort of wasted. Look, I mean, that's kind of why I've still got loads of boxes of sprues. I mean, I'm still getting emails from people saying, can I send you sprues and where do I send them? And I say at the moment I'm not taking any sprues because I still have loads left. It's basically because I use every bit of it. Nothing gets obviously wasted or thrown away. So yeah, I have still got a lot of sprues. Oh yeah, Steve, if you're still on, buddy, if you want, because I am kind of doing a bit of a clear out and getting rid of some bits and pieces, if you still wanted the Orc Stomper for the amount you mentioned, then yeah, you can have the Orc Stomper for, well, the amount you mentioned. Probably would need to sort of pick it up in person, just because obviously the size of it and the weight of it, it could cost quite a bit in postage. But that's if you're still on. If not, I was going to message you in the next couple of days anyway. So just to see if you still wanted the Orc Stomper. Right, so these obviously all these main sort of centre bits, because there are obviously there's no real straight edges. So them bits again, I normally have like several piles of sprues. So I've got a box of the inner bits of sprues, because these are the bits that I generally cut up into small bits and stick in a jar to turn into the ooey gooey sprue stuff. Although if you saw my video recently of the panels that I made with the sprues, they're kind of awesome to make the panels with, because obviously they are nice and irregular, and obviously they'll give you a nice sort of variety looking panels and sort of terrain bits. Oh, there's one thing I can ask, guys, and this is a bit cheeky, but if you're able to, are you able to, while you're watching this obviously, are you able to click on the other two live stream videos that I did yesterday, just to drop a comment? It's only because the only problem about the live stream videos, no one ever seems to comment on them. So I think YouTube kind of doesn't, well, YouTube likes comments basically. So yeah, if you're able to, keep the browser open to watch this. So this is really cheeky, but if you don't ask, you don't get. Yeah, if you could go onto the two live videos I did yesterday, just to write a comment, sort of saying hi, or any kind of comment you want really, that's obviously nice. Andreas, great to see you do live streams. Yeah, cheers buddy. Yeah, so I did do some when I first started the channel, but I kind of found them hard work because I had to get so much ready to do a live stream, whereas now I've simplified it so much. That's why I'm not even using the green screen anymore. I'm just obviously, well, as you can see, it's a different sort of layout on the screen, just because it makes it so much easier for me now. I haven't got to get that screen down, and if I do need to get anything, I can, because basically most of my modelling stuff is in the kitchen, which is right behind me, and having that green screen there basically blocked the whole of that door up, meaning that if I needed something, I couldn't get it, which is why I always had to try and get everything I needed on my desk. And my desk's not that big. Well, not when you get loads of stuff on it anyway. So yeah, so doing streams like this is a much simplified version, and I say because it is so simplified, it means I can live stream a lot more, which is cool. So yeah, so obviously at the moment I am just cutting up loads of sprues, just because I'm not sure how many I'm going to need to make what I'm making really, and because I am going to be setting parts of it on fire, it's worth having a few spare ones in case I do something and it's the right mess, and I can just discard it and start again, basically. Yeah, cheers, Andres. Yeah, do it later. That'd be lovely. Cheers, buddy. Yeah, so if anyone knows much about Streamlabs OBS, obviously the chat font that's coming up, it keeps changing the colour of the names. So I'm trying to make it so it's all sort of in black, because obviously it looks better. But at the moment, so your names are in that sort of yellow colour, and you can barely see them against the background that I've got. Let's have a quick look, see if I can change that. What am I looking for? No, not that. Right, so I'm just going to have a little mess about, see if I can change the colour of the font on the chat. Just because that sort of yellowy, browny, mustardy colour is just blending in with the background. Evangelus, your workspace is twice as big and you still managed to make it look like a landfill. Yeah, it's one thing I can't work in mess or be disorganised. I like to have things in its place. So for me, my desk like this is messy. If I wasn't doing a live stream, basically all would be on my desk would be the sprues and the cutters. Everything else I'd get up, use it, and then put it back, and then and that's why I love these Artizone units. And so I've got loads more behind, full of bits and pieces, because I like things to have their own place and kind of be out of sight until they're needed, and then once they're used, they get put back out of sight. Yeah, I can't work in mess. I can work and make a mess, but I can't work with a mess around me, so I generally sort of tidy as I go as well. So I think it's not quite OCD, but it's not far off. Just like being clean and tidy, I guess, and organised. The messy scored where you're at, yeah. Well, I think there was. I think I put a picture on obviously the YouTube of my desk once when I was scratch building something. So obviously my desk was like full of rubbish, and I sort of said, "Oh, this is the worst my desk has ever looked." And I reckon about 20 out of the 21 comments were all saying that's tidy compared to theirs. And it's like, ooh, yeah. So that was messy, but it only stayed messy for like an hour or so, and then obviously had a bit of a tidy up. Andres, I love your sprue videos. You collected your own nibbly knobbly bits and you can try and make an orc stuff from it. Awesome. One question: what kind of acetone do I use? I use the cheapest one I can find. I think they're all sort of like 99.7 or 0.8 or 0.9% acetone. But yeah, I use the cheapest one going. you'll find that about me in a lot of the stuff I do. I generally go for the cheapest, or best value one, I guess, is kind of what I go for. So yeah, I mean, I've used a variety of different acetones, so I've not used the same one. It's always been a different one. Every time I've looked online, I've gone for whichever one looks like it's the cheapest. Initially I bought just small little bottles, but then at one stage I did buy like a 5 litre one. So obviously it was quite expensive, but it was a lot cheaper than buying loads of smaller ones. And that's when I was making a lot more sprue videos. So it was obviously cost efficient for me to buy a big 5 litre bottle rather than the smaller ones. What was I going to do? So I was going to try and change the colour of the font, just because it's, well, can't even see it. Right, chat box. Right, if we go to boxed, how does that look? If you guys can put something in chat, just so I can see the chat box come up. Because I've just changed the setting, and I just want to see what the chat looks like. Right. Oh, pardon me. Nope, no one's put any chat up. Yeah, guys, if you just put in the chat, just put hi, just so I can see. Oh no, I don't like the look of that. Right, I've had. So the other ones is old school, but I don't like the look of old school. What colour is that going to come up as, I wonder? Oh, there you go. Steve said you go to Poundland and you can buy acetone there, which is pretty cool. Let's go back to that being white. Let's see how that looks. Yeah. So I don't know. It lets me change the font. Yeah, I can change the font of the what you type. I just can't seem to change the font of the actual your names, which is a pain because it just seems to randomly do whatever it wants. Bo Smith's got a area 6 foot by 3 foot, and it looks like the island of misfit toys. Cool. Right, we'll see what colour comes up on the text in a minute. Because it does seem to be just changing, really. Yeah, right. So the idea is with this sprues, I want to try and do it so part of the sprue I can turn it into like roots. Because obviously I want to make the trees so they stand on their own and don't need a base, basically. And because the trees are only going to be, well, it's going to be about about an inch in sort of diameter at the bottom. Saying that, I think I've still got some. I've just gone purple and white, but well, that looks a bit better because it looks. You can see that on the background. Let's make that a little bit bigger. Let's go with that. And one last thing will change the size a little bit, I think. Right, see how that goes. Yeah, basically, you might have seen for the miniatures, I don't like using normal bases because they obviously have that bit of height on them. I don't like that. I'd rather my miniatures were almost like on the floor. So that's why basically I use 1-inch washers. And the other thing I like about these is it gives a bit of weight to the figure. So obviously because these are plastic, obviously here's a miniature I've had since the 80s. This is one of the original figures that I used when I used to play D&D back in 1980. Obviously made of metal, a bit of weight to him. Whereas obviously the plastic ones, obviously very light, obviously. because it's plastic. So having the metal washer at the bottom just gives it that bit of weight, so when you move them it just feels nicer. So yes, I might actually use these as the base, or I think they'd have bigger ones. Yes, I've got one as well. I say bigger. They're what, an inch and a bit. Well, I think they're 30 millimeters. These ones. So yeah, so we'll use them as the base. Because the other thing I'm thinking about doing, because I want to make this board modular, so I can add bits, change bits, and make it look however I want to make it. I'm thinking about putting magnets in the board. So then all the pieces I have will have obviously metal in them, and then obviously they'll just, wherever I put them, they'll stay. More so for them where I can lay the board out, and then when I pick it up and move it around, bits aren't going to fall over. So yeah, I'm either going to put magnets in the bits I'm putting on, or magnets in the board. I'm not sure which one yet. Yeah, I haven't really given that much thought, to be honest. But I think initially I'm going to use these as the base for the trees. Just again, it just adds a little bit of weight. Obviously it's nice and flat, which is the main thing. Oh, so now this font's gone red. That's bizarre, because it was pink a minute ago, or purple. Oh, so I haven't got a clue what's going on now. I'm going to leave it. So what's the chat in the box is lagging by about 10. The chat's only lagging because I keep changing it, and every time I change the settings, I have to click the save settings. So that's why it keeps lagging out, because I keep messing about. I'm not going to mess about now, so it should stay like that. But say it's just annoying that I can't change the colour font of the names. But hey ho. Doesn't acetone really stink up the place, even if it's in the jar? No, it's in the jar. You can't smell it. I could take the lid off, put it over there. Oh, I can actually smell it a bit, to be honest. Oh, no, I can't. I think because I took this off, obviously, big woof of. Yeah, so you can't sniff it, but obviously you get it near, you can. But the thing with this though, as soon as it gets in the air, it evaporates. So, like say I was to take out a bit of this goo now and put it on a bit of greaseproof paper, you'd smell it initially when you scoop it out, but within seconds you won't smell it unless you've got it under your nose. So yeah, so even though this does have a strong smell, you can only really smell it when it's right beside you. It doesn't stink the room out, because I say it evaporates. As soon as it gets in the air, it evaporates. So the smell, well, disappears, basically. Tony Montenegro, love the videos. Orchestra and Ogre looked good. So did the goblins. Keep the good work, and I'll keep in touch. Tony from the USA. Awesome, buddy. Cool. Must be well early. Or well early, or well late, depending on how you want to say it. Yeah, so I think guys, I'm going to do a couple of evening live streams, but I think I'm probably going to do more morning ones. Again, for me, it works out better because obviously then I can basically do a school run, come back. I'll always have my own free time during the day, apart from obviously when the kids are off school holidays, that sort of stuff. So yeah, so for me doing live streams, it's easier in the morning, and I say it seems to be more people on now than the evenings, which is awesome. And I say I love the fact that you guys are just all over the world, which is cool. Anyway, let's get back to this. I'm going to say this is what I mean about me waffling on sometimes. I don't get a lot done, but I want to get this done because basically I want to film and obviously complete a tree. The acetone one, I'll possibly do that one off camera, only from the point of view of obviously when I start doing stuff with that, it's a case of you do a little bit, then you've got to leave it for 4 or 5 hours. Because basically with the acetone one, I'll explain what I'm going to do, because I say the chances are I won't do this on camera because it just takes too long and there's big gaps in between. So for the acetone one, I was literally going to use some wire to make a rough sort of tree, sort of bark shape size, and then basically it'd be a case of getting one of my tools, scooping some of this out, putting it over the wire, but then this is what I mean by it's going to take a long time, then putting it to one side, leave it for an hour or two, scoop some more, put some more, because obviously this stuff is very runny, or even when it's thick, it's still runny, and obviously gravity will pull it down. So you can only put on a bit at a time, otherwise if you put loads on, you turn your back, within an hour or two it'll all have just sunk to the bottom. So you put on a little bit at a time, then you have to leave it. So that's why I'm going to have a go at making one with acetone, but the chances of me making 12 using that stuff are quite slim because it takes a long time. But I want to make one just to see how it comes out. So yeah, so it'll be a case of doing that, and then the good thing with that is after about 4 or 5 hours it kind of turns to plasticine. So in other words, the acetone's evaporating, there's a little bit on the inside but the outside's almost dry, and that's when you can get obviously like modelling tools, crafting tools, and you'll be able to scratch and groove into it, which is kind of why I'm thinking this will look more realistic than this. But that being said, I'm not too sure. I'm going to say that I want to heat this up and melt it basically, and then try and scratch into it. So we'll see how that turns out. Right, so I'm going to cut some of these bits and say I want to have part of this as the roots, so it's going to be like bent and then coming up and then branching out like a tree basically. Right. Again, that's why I say I like using my phone and this arm, because I can vary the angle and the view that you guys see, obviously in the videos, and the fact that I can have it right beside my face, but I can still see what I'm doing, and I can see the camera just to check that my hands and what I'm working on is in shot, which is pretty cool. Weekend mornings, yeah. See, weekends I'm busy. Weekends I'm rather at a wedding, or I'm doing stuff with my family. So yeah, so weekends are kind of like really no goes, to be honest. That's why midweek for me doing streams in the morning does seem to be the best. Alright, so we'll have that, because I say I'm going to be filming bits obviously, and again, so in my head when I'm filming I'm kind of roughly thinking what I'm going to be saying, and obviously I'm going to mention that I'm going to be using this sort of curl up, and we'll have a little cut there. Yeah, that one will do. Cut a bit off. So I want it reasonably thick, so I probably am going to use quite a few of these actually. I can have them longer than I need, because again I can cut these down as sort of required. In fact, I think I'm just going to use all of these. And then we'll get some of this contact glue. Yes, yeah, so obviously the other good thing is using the contact glue. Obviously this stuff must have some sort of like an acetone ingredient of some description in it, because obviously the way this works is obviously it melts the plastic, and then obviously when you put it together it melts the two parts, and then they dry and they're stuck together. So yeah, so I might actually coat some of the outside in bits of this again, just to try and sort of put some grooves in and to make it look more like bark rather than obviously smooth sprue plastic basically. Have I missed anything here? What's going on? Andre says at home with his daughter because she has a cold. Oh no. Otherwise you've got too much work. Well, I think I'm coming down with a cold, because one of my little ones had a cough last week. And generally when they get ill, I get a little bit sometimes of whatever they've had. I say I do feel like my throat feels a bit rough. Evangelist has about 900 euros worth of 40k stuff, but you still feel like you're just getting started. It is expensive, I must admit. I mean, I don't even play Warhammer, and I think I must have spent about £400 or £500 on figures and vehicles and stuff. And yeah, it's ridiculous the amount of money I've spent, and most of my stuff, it's really bad to say, like everyone else I guess, is in boxes still. A lot of it's still in boxes, and that's why I'm moving away from Games Workshop now, because some of the sets I'd buy like a set of figures, but I'd buy it just because there'd be like one or two in there that I wanted, and I didn't want the other 10, 15 or whatever there was. So I was paying a lot of money just for 1 or 2 figures. Whereas obviously being able to 3D print figures, I mean, just printing these out is obviously a lot cheaper than buying them anyway. But the fact that I can print out just what I need and not more. So yeah, that's why I'm not going to be buying any more Games Workshop stuff. I am just going to be printing my own. Right, so let's see how, what was I going to do with these? Just glue them, I think. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually use the super glue in the middle. Just because obviously the contact glue is really, really good. It just takes that bit longer to dry. And so I think I only really need the centre to have the normal glue in it, and then it'll be the outside that I'll be doing stuff to obviously make it look like bark. So definitely for ease and quickness, using normal super glue is the way to go, I think. Yeah. Just thinking I might, because obviously I want to try and make the trees round-ish. I don't really want them to look like square trees. So I'm thinking I might put some tape around it. So glue it together and then put some tape around it just so it stays in position while the glue's drying. Or I might be able to hold it actually, because super glue should dry pretty quick. Yeah, let's have a go at just holding it, see what happens. Again, I say this is the other thing, when I'm making stuff and it's something I'm making for the first time, a lot of it is kind of like experimental, try things. If they work, great. If they don't, then I try something different, basically. But I generally leave in the videos, if I try something and it doesn't work, I generally leave that in the video, just to obviously show this way doesn't work, but this other way does work, hopefully. Right, so... Oh, no, that's not the part I wanted. Start filming. So yeah, so because I picked that up, I'm going to say, well, that I'm going to now, in the video, I'll be saying I'll use that for the outside. For the inside, I'm going to use good old super glue. And yeah, I'm just going to, basically, I'm going to glue the centre bits. Because I want the top and the bottom, I want to be able to sort of burn it, melt it, and then kind of like bend it out. But this is where I say this is why I prefer using the contact glue, because using the super glue, obviously it does glue your fingers as much as everything else, whereas at least the contact glue only glues plastic because of the way it works, because of obviously melting plastic. And again, this is why whenever I do my videos, I always speed them up, just because sometimes it can take a long time doing anything really. And you don't need to watch the whole process of everything in a video. It can be obviously fast forwarded, because obviously I'm generally talking over it and explaining what it is I'm doing. Yeah, so if anyone who has just joined, obviously I am going to have a go at making trees from sprues. I've not done what I'm doing now before, so this is kind of new. In my head I've got an idea of what I'm going to be doing, but like a lot of things, I have the idea. When I start doing it, I might think, oh, this isn't working, I'll try something different, or yeah, this is working, awesome. So yeah, so sometimes things are just made up as they kind of go along. Obviously, like you guys, I do watch a lot of other YouTubers and building things, but obviously there's not many people out there that do probably as much with sprues as I do. There might be some trees out there from sprues, I'm not sure. Right, I'm going to turn that off because that's filmed enough. And we should just keep adding more and more trees. The idea is obviously make this the main sort of trunk of the tree, and then once I've got a rough sort of size, then I'm going to go in, do a bit of burning, a bit of melting, and then hopefully be able to sort of like etch in with my sharp little tool, bark sort of looking stuff. Yeah, I've seen a lot of trees being made, and yeah, aluminium foil seems to be the good one. Generally, I say with the old like wire as a sort of like a base, because obviously the wire is quite lightweight, and you can easily make the branches coming off. And then yeah, definitely using tin foil on top. Yeah, so I hate using super glue when it gets on your fingers, because then you lose the feeling of like touching something, because obviously there's a layer of glue. Then it starts to crack, and you can just feel it. It's like it's really weird. I don't mind making something that's kind of like messy, as long as I can clean up as I go along. But with glue, it's generally there, let's say on my fingers now, for the whole of me making this. It'll be there, and it'll probably be there for a good few hours while I'm trying to sort of like peel the stuff off. But obviously it is nice and quick and instant kind of. Right, let's have a few of these go the other way. That's the one good thing about these as well, because obviously kind of all the nibbly knobby bits, they leave a lot of sort of marks and bits and pieces on them still, and they can be obviously look quite good as well, the gnarly bits of trees, which is cool. Andrew's just got to go and do the whole parenting thing. But you have a good day, buddy. I'm probably going to be here for a couple of hours, I would have thought. What's time now? 11 o'clock, almost 10 to 11. Yeah, so my plan is to get at least one tree made. I doubt I'll be obviously doing the ooey gooey sprue one on camera, but if I can get a tree made this way using these sprues, that'd be awesome, because then say later on I can have a go at messing about doing the sprue one or the goo one. Because I'm sure that I'll probably be doing that throughout the evening and then overnight. Where's my little mini, just to try and gauge how thick. Yeah, we'll get a little bit thicker. So because the trees aren't going to be very tall, I want them relatively thick, but I want them to like sort of start out, come in, and then go back out. So I need to make this thicker than I kind of want it, just so I can get that, I can cut that curve sort of into it then, hopefully. I mean, this may well be a case of me doing this and then still using some of the sprue goo on this, because when I do cut this, there might be like big gaps. But I'm going to see how it turns out, really. Again, I'm making it up as I go along. Yeah, so I hope you guys are all well. What's today? It's Tuesday today, isn't it? Yeah. No, so not even halfway through the week. Right, we'll get a few more on here, then hopefully we'll be in a soon position to have a go at heating it up. So I want to get the bottom bit to sort of like spread them out, just so they'll be like the roots of the tree. I think it'll obviously help it sort of rest on the floor if the bottom or base is obviously quite wide. Because obviously, as you can see in my little picture, my little drawing here, this is roughly the sort of size of the tree and kind of the look I'm going for. So you kind of want the base to be relatively wide, just so it counterbalances obviously the overhang of the tree at the top. Right, what are these ones sticking on? If in doubt, a bit more glue. Right, while that's doing that, have a quick little drink. Let's put one more in the middle, that'll help stick them together. A couple more around this. So I think I'm going to use all these ones I've done. I'm going to use them all. Just to say, so I want this tree to be relatively chunky. And then say, hopefully then the fun bit begins, where I obviously use my little tea lights, because as I say, these are great little lights to use, and then have a go at melting some of the bottom bits, just so I can obviously use my little pliers and then pull bits up. And again, the same with the top. I'm going to pull some like branches out. Well, that's the general idea anyway. We'll stick to that one there. That one will probably be the last one we put on. Right, just hold it for a little bit, and then fingers crossed they'll stay together. Yeah, so I've been looking at a lot of varieties of ways of making trees, and yeah, I mean you can make trees using kind of all sorts really. Yeah, again, I thought I'd have a go at using sprues, because I haven't done a sprue video for a while, and the fact I've got loads of sprues. So that's why generally it's quite good to use something you have an abundance of, especially because I want to make, say, I want to have about a dozen trees. I mean, I may never use them all, but it'd be nice to have a dozen trees, so that if I did do a scenario or a setup, I've got more trees than I kind of need really. I'll just give that a little bit longer, because I think some of it's not quite done. Right, let's give my fingers a little bit of a clean, because I can't stand the glue on them. Terence Rock just arrived at my destination. Been a pleasure listening to you drive between locations. Best of luck with those trees. You got me wondering if I can pull off some 6mm scale items. Oh, okay. Well, have a good day, Terence. Whatever you're doing, wherever you've just driven to. Yeah, cheers for having me there in the background. It's always nice to obviously have people sort of watch or listen as I'm doing stuff. Yeah, good luck in your day. And good luck to me doing this. Right. I'm going to go a couple more minutes just in case. Because I've got the old super glue. Set time 5 to 15 seconds. So the glue I use, obviously Amazon, it's not that expensive. It's about £3.20 for like a big bottle. So it is a super glue. It's just not as instant as those smaller super glues you get. But then them smaller ones cost more than this, and obviously you get a whole lot less. So this is a good glue. It just takes a little bit longer than a normal super glue to dry. But that's fine. It's definitely obviously quicker than this, because this stuff takes quite a lot longer. Because obviously it melts the stuff, and then it's got to obviously dry. Right, but I'm looking forward to seeing what we can melt. Right, my music has stopped, so I'm just going to restart that. Oh, where is it? Up there. Well, what have I done with my music? There we go. So a little bit of music in the background, just because I can't work in just silence. Yeah, I need to have some sort of music. So I'm just doing some non-copyright music that I can have in the background. Yeah. Cool. Right, so I think that's relatively stuck together. Although saying that, when I heat it up, I don't know when I heat this if the heat's gonna make the glue non-gluey, non-sticky. Don't know. But as I always say, it's always good to try new things, see what happens, and then hopefully remember what happened for the next time you want to do it or not do it. So say, obviously this is a lot bigger, as you can see by my little drawing, but that's fine because I want to bend off some of the bottom bits, bend some of the top bits, and obviously having it too long is good because obviously then I can just chop bits off as opposed to it being too short and having to try and glue bits on. Yeah, right, we'll have a little go at melting the bottom and seeing what happens really. Right, so that's a good little shot of my tree. Right, so I'm going to hold this, hold that. I want them pliers. Let's try the other pliers as well, just in case. Let's just get all the pliers out. Yeah, Steve, burning time. Get the fire extinguisher. And say, what could possibly go wrong? Right, so that can then show the thing. Bring on the flame. Yeah, don't try this at home, kids. Right, so let's have a go at melting a little bit at the bottom and then just try to bend it. Ooh, fire, fire. I'll stop filming for a bit. Just to say, sometimes I need to move in a position where it's difficult to film. But again, I don't need to film all of the bits. So I'll film some of, obviously, me bending some of these bits. I can bend the rest, and then when I go back to filming, it'll be like the next sort of part of the process that I'll be doing. Because otherwise, if I left everything in, then obviously the videos would be, well, extremely long. And I think they'd be a bit boring to watch the whole process. When all you really need to see is obviously the important bits in between, really, and basically all the stages. Yeah, guys, if you haven't done so already, if you could give the video or the live stream a thumbs up, that would be awesome. And if you saw my other live streams yesterday, if you don't mind quickly popping on them and just leaving a comment, because the only problem about the live streams, obviously they don't really get many comments. And so YouTube's algorithms likes comments, and it helps promote my channel and obviously advertise it to people, which obviously helps me out. Oh. But yeah. Oh. Right. Don't burn my fingers. Yeah, try not to. More glue in that, just gets, seems to be coming away a little bit. Holland, you're the one who thumbed down. I've just seen the thumb down. If the tree works out, it can go up. Purely because I'm setting things on fire, that's got to be worth thumbs up, regardless if it works or not. No pressure. Right, just going to glue that. I'm going to leave that dry a little bit because it keeps coming away. Yeah. But so the main thing I want to do with this, I'm going to do this similar sort of thing to the top, have some of the top coming off, and then I'm going to have a go, obviously using my scalpel to sort of like cut the sprues, just to give them, again, the sort of shape that I've got sort of down here. So again, wider at the bottom, goes in a little bit, and then comes out, and then has obviously the tree trunk or the branches at the top. So that's the idea. Obviously, we'll see if that happens in practice, basically. So say eventually I will have this on one of these washers. Again, just because it's a nice flat base, it's a bit wider. There's a bit of weight to the to these as well. And say if I do magnetize the board, this will just help when I go and place the trees. It'll stay there and not wobble over when I go to move the board. Basically, it's kind of the plan. Yeah, that's fine. Cause I don't really want too many sort of like roots at the bottom. Just a few. It's just to, like say, widen it a little bit, and so it now obviously stands on its own, even without the bit of metal at the bottom. So I'm going to film again a little. Let's go up to the top. Let's have a change in angle, and we'll film from above. So yeah, so this time I'm going to do some of the top bits. And so these are going to be like the branches branching out to obviously then be able to stick all the foliage on the top, basically. Yeah, I think that one. Right, let's film, and I can just quickly show that down the bottom it stands up on its own. And yeah, let's go and pull some of the top bits off. So I'm trying to bend 3 at once this time, which is why obviously I'm leaving it over the flame a lot longer. Oh, I think that's not too high. Yeah, I'm going to go lower than that. How low can you go? So again, this is obviously why whenever I make videos, I film obviously me making bits, and then I do the voicing over bit afterwards, just because it makes it a whole lot easier, and because I'm never too sure exactly what bits I'm going to leave in the video. I mean, I'm obviously melting it and bending it. You could really just try and get bits and glue them on. I'm doing it this way just because it's more fun. Yeah, that's kind of it really, more fun. And so I prefer it to be all sort of like one bit. Plus when I'm burning it, because I'm going to burn the whole on the outside anyway, where it's getting burnt, again there's a nice sort of texture, there's crease lines in it. Basically I'm doing everything I can, or will be doing everything I can, to make these not look like plastic sprues. Oh, let's turn that off. Yeah, so it doesn't look like plastic sprues basically. So yeah, so by burning it and melting it, it is putting in some sort of like unnatural, uneven, it's putting in detail, basically detail that I wouldn't be able to necessarily do with just sort of scraping it or cutting it. So yeah, it's good. Oh, Holland once tried to turn a tree into a realistic WARHAMMER sprue. Complete fail. Really? I'm surprised. I thought a tree to sprue would work better than sprue to tree. Tony, good day and cheers everyone. Is that you coming back or is that you going? I'm not too sure. Anyway, whatever's happening, I'm hoping you all have a good day. Oh, you put my flame out. Obviously health and safety must have came round and blew that out. Yeah, hope you guys are having a good day, whatever you're doing. I say cheers for having me on, whether you're watching me solely or you've got me on in the background. Either way, yeah, I'm pleased that you're here and watching. Obviously, again, even if I was here and there was like one person watching, I'd still be here basically, because obviously I like making things. That's what my channel's all about, and that's kind of what I'm all about really, having fun making stuff. I think I may have done the glue too far up. I should have really just done a bit at the bottom. So some of these ones I'm not sure how well I'm going to be able to bend them because of the glue, but we'll see. I'm surprised the trunk doesn't go higher than the tree. So because that really is the drawing I've done. That really is kind of like the height that I want the trees. I don't really want them any taller than that. I mean, that's quite a nice height. They can obviously be different sort of bushiness around the bottom or the sides, but height-wise, I think that's kind of where I want to be at really. Let's see how well I can bend quite a few in one go again. So say a lot of these I'm bending, I will eventually sort of cut because I don't need quite so many, I don't think. But again, I'm not sure because it is going to be covered by foliage, so you're not going to see half of this stuff that's at the top. Just for those health and safety people out there, my room is well ventilated. I've got a big window in front, I've got a window to the side, and a window behind me, all open. So there's a lot of air coming in, going out. Just because I know a lot of people will be watching this and going, oh, you're melting plastic. Do you know how poisonous that is? You're going to die tomorrow. Yeah. I might die tomorrow, but it won't be through the smell of the plastic. It'd be the good old number 73 bus knocking me over. Obviously, I hope not. Yeah, Duffman 2.0 or 2.0 live again. I am live again. I say now I've got my sort of setup all done nice and easy. Yeah, it's easy for me now just to, while I'm making something, to have you guys sort of there really. I say, because then you're kind of in the background of me making something, and you can be watching me in the background of you doing whatever it is you're doing, whether you're at work, at school, or just chilling at home. So one thing I have learned from doing this then, the super glue doesn't melt through the flame. It still stays rock hard, because all these bits were glued. I'm trying to basically bend these lower, and they're not, because they are sticking really well, which is good in a way, but not because I want to bend it. And I don't have any de-gluing stuff. So everyone has just joined. I'm going to do two ways of making the trees. One with sprues like this, and the other one with the ooey gooey sprue stuff. But for the live stream this morning, it will just be this way, because the other way, when I do make trees with the sprue glue, it is a case of doing a little bit and then leaving it, doing a little bit more, leaving it, because you can't use too much sprue glue in one go, because otherwise it'll just melt down to the bottom, basically. Right, so I'm going to bend these last bits, or even snap them off. Yeah, we'll try and bend these bits. If not, I'm just going to cut them off. I say, because the chances are you're not really going to see much of this at all. This at the top purely is there just to hold the foliage. Yeah, I think it's because they're glued actually. Yes, we shall cut those off. Where's my snips? Yeah, it's a little bit high. Cut the bits right off that are in there. Yes, I think the next one I make of these, if I make more, I will have the trunk of it not as high. So it's not too bad, because that is going to be just covered by foliage, but it would have been nicer to have had this sort of more there. I say, because otherwise this tree is going to be, I don't know. It could be that high, I guess. Again, there's no real, because I had a little look online at tree heights, but obviously there's all kinds of trees, some small, some crazy high. So yeah, that height isn't too bad. Again, because I want to have quite a few trees on here, I don't want silly high trees. I'd rather they were lower and obviously bushier, because the idea is you'll be able to like hide in the trees and use trees as line of sight and all that kind of stuff. But yeah. So yeah, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to use my blade and cut obviously the flatter edges off, just so this is a bit more sort of, not necessarily smooth, but it's not as obviously, well, it's not as sprues with sharp edges or square edges. So yeah, so we'll turn that off a little bit. Ooh, a little wax on the fingers. Although wax on the fingers, can't really feel it because I've got glue on my fingers. So I guess in a way the glue is quite good because it saved me from burning, sort of. Duffman, perfect after work chill stream. Love it. Cool. Awesome. So where you are, Duffman, have you on a night shift, an early shift, or a normal day shift? Yeah, guys, let me know in the comments where you guys are and what time it is where you are. Just because I really love the fact that obviously I'm in the UK, it's 11:17 here, but obviously with you guys being all over the place, it's going to be all kinds of different times, obviously. So yeah, let me know in the comments where you are, guys, because I always find that fun. Right, so if we get that lower, and obviously again this is where I hope not to cut myself, because it's always a pain when you try and cut sprues. You generally cut towards yourself because it's just easier, whereas trying to cut away is just difficult, whereas there's more control cutting towards, but obviously coming towards is generally nearer my fingers. Oh, you're in Korea. I mean, you probably said the other day. I will say now, guys, as well as me not being able to pronounce people's names, I've also got a memory like a sieve, so you could say things to me and within 5 minutes I'll have forgotten. I was 718 in Korea. Awesome. So again, that's what I love, obviously, the fact that, yeah, you guys are just all over the place, and yeah, the time differences, it's always fun. Right, so let's have a little go at trying not to slice my fingers. So again, I'm doing this to basically take off all the like the sharp edges, just so the tree looks a little bit rounder. Obviously this will add a bit of texture to it, but I say I am going to also use my little flame just to sort of melt bits as well. And some of these bits that come off, I'll actually sort of glue them back on into any of the gaps. Just again, you don't want like big gaps in between the trunk of the tree, really. So I'll do my usual. I'll film some of this, but then I'll stop just because it is easier for me to, well, do this without a camera right in front of my face. Because obviously I'm having to hold this while I'm doing it so the camera can see it, whereas there's some bits I'd rather hold this up higher and obviously change the angle of it basically. But yeah, so sometimes when you're filming for video, you are holding things not how you would normally hold them. I'll do a little bit more on camera and then I'm going to turn it off just so I can hold it a bit different. Right, that's cool. Plus as well, doing it at that angle, my hand was aching. Right, I think I've got a delivery, so I'm going to stay, but I am going to turn off the picture. So we'll do that and that. So back in a second, guys. Okay, yeah, I'm back. Yeah, just the it was the Postman. Right, let's take that off and that off. Yeah, Postman's turned up. Well, I was wondering what it was that was coming, because generally when I order things, I obviously order things from Amazon. They normally do next day delivery, so I normally know when something's turned up and what it is. But this has turned up, and what it is, it's a spare part for my Anycubic Viper printer. Unfortunately, I moved my printer, and when I moved it, I think I must have done something to it. So when I tried to level it, the leveling bit wasn't working. So they've sent me a replacement part, which I'm super excited at, because obviously I want to get that put back in, and then I can use that printer to well, to print some bits, obviously. So yes, I'll be doing that later, which is really good, because yeah, I've been waiting for that. Anyway, back to my my tree. Right, still oh cool. So it looks like no one left, which is awesome. You're still there. So yeah, so again, with all these bits that are coming off, again with the sprues, this is why I love sprues. Nothing gets wasted. Everything gets used. So say these little bits that have curled off, if there are gaps in the tree, which there will be, I can glue them back on. But I'd glue them on obviously using the cement glue, so it's kind of like melts the two together. So then you use this as almost like a filler. So in a way, this is almost like the ooey gooey sprue stuff, but obviously not quite to that extent. So yeah, that's why I like using the cement glue with the sprues, because obviously it does melt them a little bit. Yeah, so I'm going to carry on doing a little bit of shaving. Yeah, shaving, and then say I'm going to have a go at doing some melting with the flame again, and then see with my little sharp tool, which I've, oh, there it is, my little sharp tool. I mean, if you got a dart, you could use a dart, because obviously that's kind of like what it is, and then use that to also like scratch in some like grooves, just so it looks like a tree trunk basically. Again, you're trying to do everything you can to make this not look like sprues. So again, we'll just chop off some of these bits just to take off the edge. But say where they've been burnt, they've already obviously smoothed out, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and like I was saying earlier, obviously anyone who just turned up, what I always find with these things is when you are making things, say especially out of sprues, even when you've like made it, sometimes you might look at it and think, oh, it looks like a sprue. But it's when you get the paint on and obviously you start painting it and it just changes instantly. Because obviously for one, it's then going to look the same colour as a tree, as in shades of brown, I guess. And yeah, because obviously when you look at a sprue, because it is still grey, it's the colour of sprues, so it makes you think of sprues. So yeah, getting things painted really does change how they look. Right. Again, I have to try and keep my my desk tidy, because I don't like working in too much mess. So even with all this stuff, it's kind of playing on my mind a little bit that there's loads of tools, because normally I have all the tools in the rack. But again, just to make it easier and quicker for me, obviously being live streaming, I've got all the tools out, whereas I normally wouldn't. Alright, so it's pretty much, say, smoothed off now. It's not as sort of sharp edged, which is cool. And again, I just want to try and take some more bits out of the centre. Just again, going back to my little reference picture, just because I want to have like a bit of a curve. So it's obviously wider at the bottom, curves in, and then curves back up or back out at the top, to obviously then accept all the foliage. Yeah, full book gaming 3D printed. Yes, I say I'm looking forward to doing that, because say it's my own fault. I moved the printer. Because again, with the Anycubic Viper, it's awesome. You get it. There's a few bits you have to assemble. Not much, as in assemble. You put a few bits on, tighten up the bolts or whatever. Push a button, and it levels itself. This little thing comes down. I think it takes something like 12 different points, so it levels itself, and then you're printing straight away, which is awesome. But then I got another printer, so to make room I basically had to reshuffle, moved all the printers around. I moved the printer to somewhere new, so obviously I had to like re-level it again, because I'd moved it. And when I went to re-level it, I think when I went to move it, I must have knocked something or did something. And so it's only a small part, and obviously that's why it's easy to knock it. So this little bit here, it goes on the main nozzle where the filament comes out, but it's also the bit that measures pressure. So when it does its self-leveling bit, you get this bit that comes down, touches the board, goes up, moves along, touches the board, and so on. Well, obviously this is a very small little piece that's in there, and this registers when something touches something. And obviously if it doesn't register when it touches something, it just keeps pushing down. And obviously that's when obviously you can tell it's not working, because it pushes down, makes a bit of a horrendous noise, and then it starts beeping at you to say, whoa, something's gone wrong. So this little bit is the bit that stops it from pushing down, because as soon as this bit registers it's touched something, it stops, lifts it up, moves it on, and so on. So yeah, so I've not been out of print with the thing since I've moved it, which say my fault. Well, not that I shouldn't have moved it because I needed to move it, but yeah, so I'll be looking forward to doing that once I've done this. Right, that's quite a lot off. Yeah, so if I might stick that on the base. Yeah, I think I'm going to melt it a bit more because I really want that to be flatter. Plus, when I melt it, I can then almost use that as the glue. So when I stick it to that, it'll then, once it hardens, it'll hopefully stick, possibly. We'll see. Yes, let's get the little fire going again. Again, obviously I'm going to film this, and like I keep saying, a lot of times I film stuff, but I won't necessarily keep it all in because sometimes it's not necessary. But I like to film it just in case. So we will basically set this bottom bit on fire, just because I know it's going to be fully melted and it will stick to the thing. Try and keep it so it's relatively level. I say some of these bits are falling off and they can just be glued back on after. I just thought I'd have a go at trying to do it all in one sort of hit. So again, I've not made trees like this before, so this is all sort of new, kind of experimental. So I may actually go through, do all this, and then find the next tree I do, I'll just glue a few straight bits together and then glue some other bits sort of sticking onto it. Oh, it's actually stuck, that's fine. So yeah, but again, that's the joy of this hobby, trying new things out, seeing if they work. If they do, great. If not, that's fine, because a lot of times when you try something, you might then think, oh, it would have been easier doing it this other way, which is kind of what I'm thinking about with these branchy bits. It possibly would have been easier me just doing a centre tree trunk and then gluing some bits on, purely from, say, because I have made this taller than I'd wanted. Whereas obviously if I just done the tree trunk on its own and then glued bits on, it would have been exactly the height I wanted, as opposed to me gluing it all together and then trying to bend it. But it's all fun. Cool, it looks like you guys are still hitting the thumbs up button, which is awesome. So the number's going up, which is nice. To say, it just helps me out, helps the channel out, and obviously it doesn't really cost you anything to hit the button, which is pretty cool. Right, so I'm going to go around just sort of like gently. No, so let's film this and get in nice and close. So again, obviously, it's difficult to say how well you can really see this. But obviously you can see there are like gaps in between the tree, in between the sprues. So I'm going to basically heat it all up. So the idea is obviously kind of like it starts melting together. Plus then when it does get hot and a bit soft, I can use my scrapey tool just to sort of like scrape down, and just to make the lines in the bark is basically what is what I'm going for. Yeah, I always find when I'm doing the live streams, that's the only problem. Obviously because I talk a lot more than I talk normally, because I'm not a big talker. I don't normally talk a whole lot. But also when I'm live streaming, I do. I think that's possibly because obviously I'm sitting here on my own. Even though you guys are there, obviously I'm sitting in a room on my own, and I think that makes it easier for me to talk. Because I'm one of these people, if I'm in a big group of people, I don't talk much. I'm definitely more a one-to-one kind of person, as in talking wise. And obviously because I'm here on my own, that makes it even easier to talk, because I am here on my own. Right, so let's have a go at seeing. Let's move this camera. Oh, sorry, the light even. Yeah, that's cool. Right. So again, I'm just want to sort of have it so it kind of like melts in one. And again, like I keep saying, it's basically all just to make it so that the sprues don't look like sprues anymore, basically. And so these little tea candles, I find are great because obviously they're only little. They are very, very cheap, but obviously it is a flame, so be careful with it because it is hot. But it's I find it just perfect for obviously melting sprues like this. Yeah, well, I think we'll go over the whole thing first, give it a good old melting, and then I might actually use the cement glue to sort of like melt it and then carve into it. I mean, if nothing else, it's changing the colour of the sprues, so it looks more like it's a tree, having that sort of dark blackish look. Well, obviously not many trees are black, but there's definitely more blackish than grey. And there we go, a bit of fire. Oh, I've blown my candle out. But so the good thing is it really has kind of like melted it. Yeah. It's basically doing what I wanted it to do, which is pretty cool. Yeah, we'll move that out of the way. Just to say, sometimes it gets in the way. Yeah, Scott needs an early stream. Yeah, I'm finding the early streams seem to have more people on, which is cool because obviously, and not just more people on. The early streams are easier for me to do. Like I was saying earlier, literally I can go and do like the school run. I come home. Obviously, kids are all at school, so I can just obviously crack on and build stuff and do stuff, which is awesome. It's a shame. I did have one of those like wire brushes, like one of the small ones, and that would have been good to have like used on this to have like sort of put those little like grainy bits in. But I don't think I've still got it. I think I threw it away. This is kind of my my drawer. Not that you can see it, but my drawer of all sorts. About this drawer, I've got another drawer of all sorts. No, I must have thrown it away. It's a bit of a shame. I think it's because it was like a real, basically it was like a toothbrush, but a toothbrush with obviously sharper bristles. So yeah, you wouldn't use it for your teeth, but it would have been perfect for this. But for whatever reason, I obviously thought I'm not going to use that anymore, and somehow or some reason, I got rid of it, which is a bit of a shame. Was Fireman Sam Welsh or just at the border? I don't know. Haven't a clue. Haven't watched Fireman Sam for quite a while. That's not working too bad. Actually, I think I might do that. Obviously, basically heat it up, put some scratches in, and then just keep turning it. Yeah, and again, this is like obviously a slow process, but the thing is though, this is obviously a hobby, so it's not a case of I want to knock out 12 trees as quick as. It's I want to enjoy what I'm building and what I'm doing. But say I have obviously just been sent those STL files for some trees, so I will be printing those out just to see what they're like as well. But again, it's good fun to see what can be made from sprues. Any idea what's going to be used for foliage? There's two options on that, Alan. One is I have just recently brought some foliage. Yes, I might have a go. I might do two trees. I might do one that obviously has this stuff stuck to it. But then I had considered using the ooey gooey sprue stuff. I don't know if you guys saw my video where I made. What's that? I can go and grab it actually. Ooh. Yeah, where I made this pirate ship. Let's move that out of the way actually. Yeah, so all of this is made of sprues. From the tentacle to the base. And there's a CD player at the bottom, but other than the CD player, and I think there's a bit of wire that goes up through the tentacle, everything else on this was made from sprues. So the flag, the pole, the balloon bit, the ropes, not the figure obviously, the cannons, but say the whole of this base is made from sprues, and the tentacle is all made from sprues. So yeah, so what I'm getting at, the top of the tree I could do in the same way that I made this, which is basically for this I made, well, if you watch the video, I made a framework, just like a square box made from sprues, and then put some ooey gooey sprue stuff over the top to like cover it. So I could make the top foliage the same way I did that basically. But yeah. Yes, I was quite pleased with it, how this came out. So the fact that this is all sprue, apart from a CD, a bit of wire, and obviously I've got a little chappy stuck to the front. But yeah, well, that's quite cool. So yeah, I might do the top like that basically. Alright, where to put stuff? So this is where my desk starts getting a bit busy. And stop my working, and on your pop. It's always when you're vacuuming. You do a lot of vacuuming, don't you? Or is this vacuum forming as opposed to vacuum in? Yeah, Steve, keep up the good work. Sprues are us. Well, it is. I know I'm not going to be doing as many sprue videos now as I used to, but I will still be doing sprue videos just because they are pretty versatile, and there's a lot you can do with them. So they'll always, sprue videos will always keep popping up. Plus any excuse for me to sort of say ooey gooey sprue stuff and nibbly knobbly bits, basically. You got a commission for making 60 trees for a gaming channel. Oh wow. So how are you making your trees? Are you 3D printing, or because I'm sure you're not going to make them out of this way, because this way would take a hell of a long time. Yeah, see, I'm going to make one of it like this. Whether I make all 12 like this, I'm not sure. There's probably an easier way to make 12 trees from sprues, I'm not sure. But again, I'm making this up as I go along. It's the first time I really made this kind of tree from sprues. Nairo or Nairo, just woke up, smartphone has notification. Oh cool. See, this is one thing I do have a concern with, YouTube not notifying people that I'm here, I'm on, I'm going live. Let's film this bit as well actually. So yes, I'm glad someone's saying obviously notified. That's cool. Right, let's get this nice and low. And if we do that, I should be able to see exactly what I'm doing. Let's do a bit of filming. Let's angle it up a bit more actually. Right, there we go. So yeah, so what I'm going to do now, again, because it's worked really well, is obviously heating it up, and as it's been heated, try and scratch in some lines straight away, and then obviously turn it, scratch some more lines in, turn it, repeat, and whatever. So yeah, definitely going to go for like the gnarly old sort of looking tree here. Just kind of like what I like really, because I do like trees. I'm not a tree hugger, although I have hugged trees. But yeah, I do like trees. I like, well, basically I like going for walks, and I do like walking in forests and seeing trees. And I really like the trees that are very gnarly, and you can almost imagine they've got like a face, a face on them. Right, so try and do that lower down. Again, this is when I try and angle it so I can still see what I'm doing on my phone. Fire, fire! Ooh. So this definitely is a slow way of making trees, but it's a different and it's a fun way of making trees. So especially if you've got loads of sprues and you're in no rush, and obviously each tree is going to be unique and individual, which is pretty cool doing it this way. As I say, I will be printing in some trees just so I can see what they look like as well. But yeah, it just seemed like a good idea to have a go at making a tree from sprues. Right, that's enough filming because I'm liking how that's looking, so we don't need to see any more of that. Yeah, so I would try and get this close up to the camera, but because I'm using my other phone and my other phone's camera, I don't know how well you can see that it is sort of looking a bit gnarly and a bit, well, like a tree trunk really. Definitely doesn't look like sprues, well, the burnt bits anyway. So I'm going to do a bit more. So basically I want to do the whole of this bottom bit, then I'm going to trim the tree trunks and that. Yeah, so what's the time now? 11:45. Yes, I think 1 o'clock I'll be going on to the latest doing this, just because there's a few things I need to do and get done. But yeah, so it's good that there's people on, because I say I think morning streams are definitely easier for me, because it's normally during the morning when I do this sort of modelling and work. Empty? Oh, that's empty. What I'm finding is it's difficult to do these bits because obviously the tree trunk's in the way. So what I kind of need is to lift the candle up a little bit. Oh, are you going to be hot? No, you're not hot. Cool. Right, so I have that up there, then I can then, yeah, there we go, get a better angle. To obviously make the top part of the tree all nice and gnarly sort of looking. So again, I'm going to do something with the bottom bit just to make the tree roots look gnarly. The top doesn't really need to have anything done to it because it's going to be covered by the foliage, so you're really not going to see the top. The top really is just there to have the branches to obviously have, well, somewhere for the foliage to be glued onto, really. Fire, fire. Right, yeah, it's a lot quicker having it at a nicer angle. It's not taking too long at all. In fact, that's all done. Let's do the bottom bit again. I'm going to hold it the other way because then I can try and do this to the some of the roots. I want to try and get, say, the gnarly look into it. Yeah, because this is kind of melting nicely, there is no need to glue bits on to fill the gaps because there's, well, basically there's no gaps. Gazcool Fracker, morning. How you doing? Steve, your messages aren't coming through. Oh. Yeah, because I saw your one about the making 60 trees. I think I asked how you're making them, and I've not seen anything since. If that's what you mean. Right. I say it's a shame I can't really show you just how good this is looking, because I must admit it's come out better than I thought, which is always nice, and it does look very tree-like, very barky-like. Yeah, going to just trim the root bits down at the bottom, just to. Well, I think they're going to snap off if I try and cut them, to be honest. Yeah, I think they're snapping off. Oh, well, if I have roots, I have roots. If I don't have roots, then well, I don't have roots. I'm going to film a little bit of tree root cutting, just in case. Oh, let's get the angle like that. Yeah, that's fine. Lag time 30 seconds. I put pics on the Discord channel. Okay, I'm gonna have a look at that later. 60 trees. Don't know if I've got the patience. Yeah, definitely couldn't do 60 trees this way. I say I have fun making things with sprues and melting sprues and cutting sprues. But yeah, there's obviously an extent of how much fun you can have whilst making 60 of these little suckers. yeah, I'm pleased with that. Well, say I am contemplating though cutting the top bits off and then reattaching them a bit lower down. I say purely because I wanted to have the tree, well, not that high. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. But again, this is the kind of thing that I will film. So when you see the video of this come out, you'll see the fact that I've done all this, and then I've decided I don't like the height of it and the top being so tall. So yes, I always sort of show the process of what I'm doing. And again, when I'm making something for the first time, it is a trial and error, and you do sometimes find things that are better. It's like the bottom. I'm also going to take it off the bottom, just because it's leaning at an angle. Well, I say that I might actually leave that because obviously trees don't necessarily always go completely straight. They might have a bit of a wobble. Yeah, so I have like a branch going off this way just to counteract the weight going that way. Yeah. Yeah, but say again, you can't see it in a. What I'm going to do is at some stage I'm going to take a picture of this and put this as a thumbnail for this live stream, just so you can just see how tree-like this has come out. Yeah, cool. Right, so I think we will. I'll blur it out. Stick that over there. Yeah, so I'm going to film me now, basically cutting this top bit off, just because say it is too high, and I'm going to basically reattach these bits and just glue them on, just to say these bits are purely there, just to hold the foliage on top. 30 normal and 30 pine trees. You start on the pine trees. Oh wow. Yeah, that's a lot of trees. So I think I'm going for about a dozen, and that'll be it. But say I've got some STLs that I've just been sent to print some trees, so I'm going to give them a print just to see how they look. But I do like the look of how this has come out as well, to be honest. So if I go from above, and then I can say I can hold this tree up to my little drawing, and then when I come to do the video in, I will mention that I've made the tree is a little bit tall, and the easiest way of obviously making it not as tall is to cut it, basically. So again, I can show off the gnarly looking tree, but then yeah, it's obviously do a little size comparison. I mean, say it's not bad. I mean, it's a nice tall tree. I just didn't want trees that tall, I don't think. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to cut it down to roughly there. Let's hope we can actually cut it, because obviously this is blimey, got shot off. That's a good reason to wear glasses. But obviously, because it is now nice and thick, it is also pretty tough. But we'll get there. Obviously, this is kind of how I generally damage and knacker my my cutters, trying to cut something that is too thick, too solid. There we go. I feel a timber coming on, and off of his head, and there we go. And yeah, that's a much nicer size, and the bit that is there is all gnarly looking, which is cool. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to reuse these bits, because I think what I'll do is I'll get some sprues, and then I can sort of like use my little knife, shave them first, then attach them, because then they'll already be like looking gnarly and tree-like. Whereas if I try and shave them when they're already glued together, that's when obviously it becomes a bit harder. But again, this bit I can keep, and this will go in the jar of acetone and be turned into ooey gooey sprue stuff. Right, let's just get this all over here, because again it's looking messy. I don't like it. Right, that can go over there. So yeah, we'll cut some more bits. And again, I'm going to film this because it might stay in, it might not. Who knows? Well, not me at the moment, that's for sure. Yeah, so it's not until I edit it, when I edit the videos down, obviously I get all the footage. So this is why when you edit videos for YouTube, it can take quite a while, because obviously all the footage I take, I then have to obviously put all together. I watch it, and then I trim bits, and then I watch it again. Then I normally do the voiceover, and when I do the voiceover, I then generally trim again, because it's like I do a voiceover for a certain bit, and then there might be another clip that shows almost the same thing, and it's like, well, I don't need to show that clip because I've shown this clip, and this clip explains the process. So that's why, again, I always film more than I use, just because it's good to have the extra footage. And when I'm explaining about something, sometimes if I'm talking lots, then I'll show that bit of footage and then the next bit of footage. But if I talk and I don't need both bits, then I'll just have to use one. So yeah, so in my videos, I don't sort of pack them out. I basically try and keep them nice and concise, to the point. So they're easy and fun to watch, and you're not watching a load of waffle, which is generally what you watch when I'm live streaming. You do get to watch, obviously, all the waffle. Right, what's this? Oh, there we go. But yeah, when I come to do the actual video, you don't want all the waffle. You want straight to the point, man. Show me the good stuff. Well, I must admit, I am now starting to feel hungry. But I will persevere just for you guys. I will keep going. The trooper I am. Although, to be honest, I'm not far off kind of getting to where I want to get to. Well, I say that no, because I want to put some of the foliage on. Yeah, so say in this stream, I'm just going to get this one tree done. Me using the ooey gooey sprue stuff will need to be another video, or at least another day of me filming. Oh, I was going to film me doing that, wasn't I? And I didn't. Right, so I'm going to film me doing that just because, well, I want to have footage just in case. So what we'll do is just show the tree, put the tree down, pick up another sprue, start cutting. Obviously, it's a good excuse for me to say cutting off nibbly knobbly bits. Not that I ever really need an excuse to say cutting nibbly knobbly bits off, but so this is where I would be saying cut nibbly knobbly bits off. Obviously, the reason I put my thumb over the bit I'm cutting, because if I don't, they do fly off at like 1,000,000 miles an hour, which sometimes can be quite funny. So, because some bits do, they just, I don't know how they do it, but obviously you cut them at such a right angle or speed or firmness that, yeah, they just boom, twang right off. Right, so what we'll do is, I might as well leave it as it is, cut the edges off, so it is no longer square-like. I'm going to do the whole lot, and then I can cut it down into the sort of the sizes I need then, which will be good. Right, let's do a bit that hasn't got the tree in the background. My music has stopped, so I'm guessing I've come to the end. Oh no, it's asked me, am I still here? Yeah, I'm still here. Still no copyright music, cool, because that's what we want. So just checking my emails. I've just got an email from basically the company that are making the Mini Me, and they've just said, good news, we have completed your dwarf, because they are really busy, so I'm really pleased that they've done it so quick, because it's Miniatures of Madness. Obviously make STL files. Basically, if you saw my dwarfs that I printed off and painted for the basing, they made the dwarfs, and they've just made a version of me as a dwarf, as a cleric, because I like playing clerics. Well, clerics, paladins, and magic users. So I like most things. I've never played a rogue. I'm not fussed on rogues or even warriors. I like to be able to cast spells, basically. So cool. Yep. So they've just sent me the file. I'll have a look at that later. Because I think they've just sort of said, have a look at the file, check it's okay. If there's any changes, then they'll do some changes. If not, because what I'm going to do as well, I'm going to print the figure off, I'm going to paint it, and I'm going to do a giveaway with well, a giveaway of me, basically. So, well, that's if anyone wants to win a little dwarf figure of me. Hope so. Right, let's just film me cutting this. So the good thing with this is all those nibbly knobbly bits I've cut off, they leave irregular shapes and patterns to the sprue, which is obviously good because they stay in. So it really is just those sort of 90-degree edges I just need to trim away. So again, the more irregular this looks, the kind of better. Right, that's enough because the blade was starting to fall out as well. Tighten that up. Right, there we go. So I say it is one of those weird things. Obviously, I mean, I'll be spending what, a couple of hours doing this, or a good few hours doing this, but the final video will literally be 3-4 minutes, because I am going to do some sort of short videos in between the bigger builds, because obviously these trees are going to be used in a bigger build, basically. But yeah, I think it's just good to do a short video on the tree making. So I'm also going to make my own flocking as well. So I might do a little video on that, even though it's a simple video. I like the idea of on my channel having loads of like how-to videos, but them all being like, say, small videos you can quickly watch to make one particular sort of thing, which I think would be quite cool. Right, so yes, that's basically it. It doesn't need to be too long because obviously it's only going to be a smallish tree, so we can have that sort of size. Yeah, we'll have another one of that sort of size, I think. Oops, it would have been easy using the cutters rather than that, but never mind. And I say then these can just be glued coming out. Obviously they're not as gnarly looking as that, but that's fine because I say you're not really going to see these. These are purely there just to hold the shrubbery bush bit. We're doing for time again? Oh, it just starts at 12. Perfect. So yeah, it's done by 1, which would be cool. Right, so there we go. Got a couple of bits done, and we can just glue these on. He says, right, I know. We'll unfilm that and we'll clean my glue thing out first. Because I haven't used these cement glues for quite some time. So obviously the glue that's obviously in the tube has dried basically. So if we put it over the flame, I was saying that, let's film this. It's always good to have everything in. So again, I may use this, I may not, I don't know. But we're just talking about the glue gun nozzle being all glued up. And then if we heat the nozzle up, basically we should see the glue just sort of run out the end. Well, that might help. Right, let's use that one. So, take 2. Obviously the other flame wasn't very good, so we'll have that out of the shot. We can talk about the glue gun, same with the nozzles obviously dried up. bring in the flame and let the burning commence again. So it shouldn't take too long. Oh, there we go. That little spark was obviously the air coming out. And it looks like a little mini flamethrower. I think I'm getting too excited by the flame, guys, just because I want to keep doing that. Yeah. Oh, look at that. It's the little things in life that kind of make me happy and smile. I've not done that before, as you can probably tell, because of my excitement having a little mini flame. It really is the little things in life that do make me chuckle. Right, I don't know why I moved that out of the way because I need to do some more filming. Duffman, have I ever used Tamiya super thin glue that comes in a bottle with a small brush? I have, yes. Funny enough, I used one of those before I used these. And yeah, I really liked it because you could obviously like just brush on where you wanted it. The problem was I had two of them because the brush basically, I can't remember if it dissolved or broke off or something happened with the brush and then it was no longer usable. That's why I went to these bottles, just because obviously they've got such a thin nozzle and you really can be very precise and the glue goes obviously exactly where you want it to go. And that's why I started buying these, the extra bits that go on these bottles. Obviously this was a lot longer, but you get loads of these really cheap. But yeah, I did use the one with the brush, but I prefer these now, especially now that I know these can be like little mini flamethrowers. Yeah, just that tickles me. Again, to say it is the simple things in life put a smile on my face, and that makes me happy. And the little flamethrower, yeah, definitely something that made me happy just then. Right, so let's just check, is the glue coming out? No, it's still not coming out. Man, I don't know if my little flamethrower trick has not worked. And the problem is I haven't got any more of these nozzles. Well, yeah, it might have not been a good idea to actually done this when it was still on there. The glue's coming out of there. Right, so we'll do this off camera, just so I'm not messing about. Because if I do it on camera, I might try and do a flamethrower again. So what we'll do is we'll hold this over without it being attached. Oh, it's still doing a bit of a thingy. Right, but hopefully though, this has now cleaned out any. I'm still doing a little flamethrower. I can't help it. Right, well, fingers crossed, we have now cleared out the glue, because obviously I want to use this. Man, why are you still not working? Okay, I'm getting upset now, because glue is definitely coming out of this. Yeah, you've been over the flame, so you should be clear. Let's get the flame again. Right, no messing about. Let's just put it over. Obviously the hole's that small, it's not even worth me trying to look to see if I can see through it, because it's obviously very minute. But come on, glue, come out. You're not coming out. Why are you coming out? So generally this works a treat and works really quick. Just heating over the flame, any glue that's in there should come out, because obviously it's kind of been heated up, but it's not coming out. So I think what I might do actually is cut. Well, if I cut it, then it's going to buckle it. So if I had another one of these glue pots, I would take the nozzle off the other one, but I haven't. But say generally when you put these over a flame, it does unclog any dry glue that's in there, but for whatever reason it doesn't seem to be. I'm not too sure. Gregor Johnson, 1985, big fan of how I reuse sprues. Awesome. Creative work instead of waste. Good stuff. Cheers, buddy. yeah, so I'm not doing as many sprue videos as I used to, but I will still be doing sprue videos because I've got loads. I've got about 2 big boxes. And when I say big boxes, I'm talking big boxes. It'd be like me saying I've got 24 shoe size boxes. The 2 boxes I've got are big boxes. So yes, I am always going to be doing sprue videos. Oh yeah, what a shocker! It's hot. Right, come on, glue, come out! Yay! Finally, thank God for that. Right, let's quickly do it before it hardens up again. Right. So the idea is, I'll show my little twiggy branchy thingy. Get some glue on there. And right, we'll have that a bit lower actually. Put some more on because this obviously does melt the plastic, so it then sticks to itself, or sticks to other bits of plastic that are melted, which is cool. And Forbes, sorry for not talking about VAC earlier. Things best left unsaid. Fair enough. Demanding priority and exclusively enemies. Vacuum is the second to last. Working outside is the last. Working outside is the last. But early, quiet hours. I'm a little bit confused. But that's fine. You haven't got to talk, buddy. I just appreciate people being here and watching. And yeah, I'll do the talking for all of us, I guess. Right, so there we go. There's one nice little branch. Oh, let's cut this in half. Oh no, I'm going to have this one long because I wanted the weight to go out the other side. So you put enough of this glue on, it really does sort of, once it gets going, it does start to melt the plastic nicely. So we should be able to push that down into itself soon. Like that. So I'll do several of these kind of branches. And yeah, then I should be ready to stick some flocking. Oh no, I'm going to paint it first, don't I? Yeah, because obviously I don't want to put the flocking on because then I won't be able to spray it. So I'm not going to get this fully finished in the live stream because I just thought I want to spray this, paint this, then put the flocking on. Because obviously the flocking, because it obviously is already coloured, you don't want to sort of mess about trying to paint that because then it'll just look naff, and obviously go rock hard if you paint it with a primer. So yeah, I'm going to put some more of these bits on, and then I'm going to probably end the stream. Yeah, because obviously I am super excited to have a look at the minifigure that they've made of me, and to obviously put that part in the Anycubic Viper printer, just so I can crack on and print some things with that as well. So it's great because having the printers from Anycubic. I thought I was going to sneeze. The Viper printer, because it is so big, and the build plate is, I think it's something like 300 by 300, the build plate. So you can, obviously it's a filament printer, but you can print some real big stuff. That's probably where I'm going to print the trees on, actually. So it's great having that printer for the big stuff, and the Anycubic Photon Mono X that they've sent me is obviously awesome for smaller stuff, and obviously miniatures, which is great. So it's like I really have got my bases covered with a printer that can print highly detailed small figures, and a printer that can print out some huge stuff. So yeah, so again, thanks Anycubic printer, Anycubic, for sending me the printers. Oh, I just realised that was left on. But that's fine. Again, that's when I come to editing, I obviously cut out loads of stuff that obviously isn't needed. Yeah, so say, apologies, you can't really see just how gnarly this is looking, but what I am going to do is I'm going to take some photos of this in a minute, and then I'm going to use them as the thumbnail for this live stream. So yeah, so guys, it'd be awesome if you can. I know it's obviously cheeky and it's a bit difficult sometimes, but if you can come back to the live stream once I've finished it, just to drop a comment on the actual live stream, or on the video of the live stream, just to say, because it'll help me out, because obviously it lets YouTube know that people are watching the video and obviously interacting with it by leaving comments. Yeah, so that would be awesome, guys, if you can come back and leave comments on this. So yes, I'm going to do some more little sort of bits to sort of glue on there. Again, all it basically is just taking off the sharp edges. You're not really going to see much of this on here, but just in case you do see any bits, you don't want it to look like a sprue, basically. So yeah, just by shaving off the edges, obviously it gets it less looking like a sprue and more like, well, something that isn't a sprue, basically. Like I said before, having the where I've cut all the nibbly knobbly bits off, that's great because it just leaves textured bits on here, which again just look more sort of branch like, which is pretty cool. Let's do the cutters because it's obviously easier. So we'll have a few smaller sort of branches coming off. Again, just to hold the foliage, really. So again, don't need to film this because obviously I've got me filming the other bits, which is enough. Scott Needs is currently playing games with a stream in the background. Awesome. The cat just knocked your model off the shelf again. Oh no. The cat just got a natural D20. Carnage. It's taking the whole shelf with it. So it's the only problem about using this stuff. It's great that it melts the plastic into obviously other bits of plastic, but it does obviously take longer for it to harden back up again. Well, I was saying that, I think what we'll do a bit of cheating. Obviously, it's melted the plastic, which is awesome, so it sort of fits in to it nicely. But we'll give it a little dollop of glue as well. Because then we can let go a lot sooner. Yes, so what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to take some pictures of this, then I'm going to paint it, take some more pictures, and then maybe put a combination of the before and sort of after picture as a thumbnail for this video. And so I think because it's going to take so long making the tree out of the ooey gooey stuff, I might do it as a separate video, or I might actually say I'm not too sure whether I should make the foliage for this using the green stuff I've got, or have a go at making the foliage out of sprues, so then the tree is fully sprue tree. What do you guys reckon? Because I'm possibly going to make one tree. I'm not sure. If I do make just the one tree, what would you rather see I make the foliage out of? The green sort of foliage that I've got, or make it out of the sprue goo? If you guys let me know, then I will possibly go with your idea. Yeah, the acetone can be used over and over again. So the jar that's currently on my desk with the acetone in it, that's I've had for about 5 weeks. So when the lid's on, the acetone doesn't really obviously evaporate, because it only evaporates when it sort of gets into the air. So yeah, so basically what I would do, so with that jar, or what I have done with that jar, is when I use the ooey gooey sprue stuff, I then put obviously more sprues in, top it up with a bit more acetone, leave it, and then just keep topping it up with sprues and acetone. So yeah, so it never runs out. So you never have to throw away the acetone, because you just keep it in the jar. So there's no need to throw it away, and then you obviously, yeah, just keep using it basically. You used a gas lighter to melt the sprues onto the trunk in the past. Ah, yeah, that would work. Right, I'm going to put a couple more on, but say these are then going to get cut to whatever size, shape I need them. And say they're not really going to be seen. So say I am coming to the end of the stream now, because I just remembered I do need to paint this first before whatever I do with the foliage. I want to get the tree obviously painted first, unless I do go with the idea of using the ooey gooey sprue stuff as foliage, then it can just be painted as one sort of thing. Right, one more little bit to put on, I think, and then I'm kind of done. So I'm definitely keen to see how this little dwarf cleric of me looks. They sent me a rough picture or rough idea of how the head was going to look, and obviously I posted that on the YouTube some time ago. But it'll be cool to see how the rest of it looks, because I kind of asked for what I wanted, and part of what I wanted was obviously the cleric's going to have a shield, and on the shield are going to be the letters MH, obviously. But yeah, because I was asking for ideas of what the cleric's name could be, but I'd want obviously the MH to be the initials of the cleric. So yeah, so it'd be quite interesting to see what I eventually go for. Right, let's use some of this stuff, because I think it needs to be melted in a little bit. Let's use that. Right, hold that for a minute or two, and I've got any drink left? Oh, I've got some drink left. Cool. Well, I'll say cheers, guys, for being there. It's always nice to know I've got company when I'm making stuff. And yeah, so I think I will be doing more morning streams, just because, say, for me, they're so much easier to do things in the morning. It will be like, obviously, say midweek. The chances of me doing a weekend one are slim. At the weekend, there's more chance of me doing one on a Sunday evening, I guess, more than any other time. Just because normally at weekends I'm rather at a wedding, or I'm doing things with my family. Right, cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to, say, painting the bark of the tree, just because it's come out really well. I'm really pleased with how sort of gnarly, knobbly, and, well, tree-like it's come. Yeah, obviously the only problem I do have when I work with sprues and I'm cutting the nibbly knobbly bits off, as much as I put my thumb over them, they do twang off and there's some bits on the floor. So it's like when you have like kids with Lego and there's just Lego everywhere and you're always stepping on Lego. I have the same sort of thing but with sprues. I'm always finding I am stepping on sprues basically. Yeah, the Revel glue frame flow. I must admit, I was really, yeah, that was quite impressive on how it shoots out. Yeah, I might do that again later off camera, just because it looked fun. Right, guys, I am going to go because I am desperate to get this stuff off my fingers. Have a look at the dwarf cleric that is me, and to fix the part in the Anycubic Viper. So yeah, lots to do before I go and pick the kiddies up from school. So yeah, can't wait to do that. Yeah, so guys, cheers. Thanks for being there. Keeping me company. I shall do that and that. So I am now disappeared. Yeah, I say I would try and bring the thing nearer the camera, Scott, but the camera won't focus clearly on St. Near. So okay, guys, this is a good reason to come back and watch this stream, because I am going to change the thumbnail on this stream to a nice close-up shot of the tree, rather as it is now or when I painted it. I'm not sure which, but it'll be one of the two. Anyway, cheers guys, thanks a lot for watching and for being there. It's been awesome.